Now that we've seen a lot of the basic techniques for editing audio and editing our files in general, let's go ahead and pull that together and do some advanced techniques on our tabs.camproj file. In this case, I've gone ahead and I've added a bunch of markers to a bunch of different edit points. One of the things that you'll likely run into when you're editing your screen recordings is you'll find individual gaps that will need to be closed up. You'll also find small single sounds that you'll want to edit out. Many of these sounds happen just from the fact of us talking. There'll be things like lip smacks and deep breaths that get taken in the middle, or long pauses where we're regathering our thoughts and we need to tighten up our editing. Let's begin by going ahead and zooming into our project a couple of clicks so it's easier to see, and then we'll navigate to the first marker by pressing Control right bracket. We can then make a small selection of this region of our file by simply selecting it with our selection tools and then pressing the spacebar to preview it.
Web browser. Tab.
If you listen very closely, there's two small little clicks right down in here, and it'd be nice to be able to go ahead and get rid of those. Let's listen to that one more time.
Web browser. Tab.
Click, click, right there. Okay, to get rid of that, we'll simply double-click again on our timeline to move our playhead back in, and then we'll make our selection, only this time we won't make our selection quite as far. We'll just go ahead and select most of the dead airspace right there in between. Next, we'll go over to our Audio Editing tab, and we'll go ahead and adjust the volume down. By adjusting the volume down one click in the middle of a clip, we get 4 audio edit points automatically added for us. This saves us a lot of time instead of having to right-click on our timeline and simply add each edit point one by one. If we add an edit point that we want to get rid of, we can simply just use the undo feature to get rid of that. Next, we'll go ahead and get rid of the audio that's in between this selection by simply grabbing the level and dragging it down to the bottom. Let's go ahead and expand our selection a little bit and listen to see what this sounds like.
Web browser. Tabs.
That's not so bad. We may want to go ahead and make a slight adjustment down here at the bottom and move the selection handles in just a little bit so we get a little bit more of a fade effect in our audio. Let's play that one more time.
Web browser. Tabs.
Now we have a gap in our video where we have no audio going on here. And it's a little bit of an awkward pause. So we can go ahead and tighten that up by once again double-clicking to bring our playhead back in close, and then make a smaller selection inside of our main selection. Now we can simply use the Cut tool to get rid of some of that dead space. We'll back up our playhead and listen to it one more time.
Firefox web browser. Tabs.
Now we sound a little bit more natural in our voice, and we've tightened up our video just a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump to the next edit point by pressing Control right bracket. And then we'll go ahead and center our timeline on that edit point. Here we have 2 clips where we've made an edit in between them. Let's go ahead and make a small selection and listen to the audio here and see what's going on.
Pages. To open.
It's not too bad, but there is a little bit of an extra breath right in there. So we'll go ahead and use the same technique, only this time we'll use that technique across 2 clips. So we'll make our selection inside of the audio files, and then we'll use the volume down button, only this time we end up with multiple edit points because we're at a clip barrier. Now when we deselect by moving our playhead out of the way, if we grab the left-hand side and move that volume down, we can see that it only moves part of the audio down. We have to come over to the other side of the clip and move that one down as well, and we can adjust the handles ever so slightly to make sure that we get a nice clean fade. Now we'll preview that and see how it sounds.
Pages. To open a new tab in your browser,
we're still picking up a little bit of that breath right in here. So we'll go ahead and drag this downstream just a little bit and maybe drag this edge down just a little bit as well. Let's play that one more time and see if the breath is gone.
in the pages To open a new tab,
That's better. Let's go ahead and jump to the next edit point using Control right bracket. We'll make a small selection and preview our audio.
the File menu and select.
So once again, we've got a little bit of a gap and we've got a little bit of a tick. You know how to go ahead and take care of this, so go ahead and take care of that one on your own. We'll go ahead and advance 2 of them by pressing Command right bracket twice. Now we're down in between 2 more clips. Let's go ahead and back up a little bit and listen to this one.
Selected. To close,
Here, we can hear a small lip smack right there. You can even see it. Let's go ahead and use that same technique to get rid of that. So once again, we'll double click, we'll make a selection, we'll drop the audio volume down just a little bit to add all of our edit points all at one time. We'll deselect and then drag our audio levels down and make the adjustments to our waveform. Now we'll preview our work. Back up our playhead and press the play button.
and is selected. To close a tab,
We've cut off our audio just a little bit too much, so we'll move this handle in some, and we'll move the top part in just a little bit as well. Let's preview that one more time.
and is selected. To close a tab,
We're still getting a little bit of a cutoff, so we'll move this in just a little bit tighter, move this over a little bit more, back up our playhead, once again hit the space bar to preview.
and is selected. To close a tab,
That sounds much smoother. Let's go ahead and jump down to the next marker by pressing Control right bracket. Now we'll make a small selection here and listen to this audio.
of the tab. If you
Here, we've got a little bit of a lip smack and then a little bit of a breath that we can hear right in there. So let's once more make another selection. Use our volume down button to get all of our audio edit points. We'll go ahead and drop that edit down and make our adjustments and then preview our work by pressing the space bar.
of the tab. If you want to open a link,
We're still getting a little bit of that breath right in there, so we'll adjust our audio level over. We'll adjust the top over a little bit and test it one more time.
side of the tab. If you want to open a
That's better. Let's go ahead and close up this gap a little bit. We'll double click in between and make a smaller selection and crop out some of that audio. Let's preview it one more time.
side of the tab. If you want to open a link in a
And that sounds much more natural. There are a bunch of other markers that have been added to this file. With this basic technique of meticulously going through your video file, line by line, in order to make sure that you clean up any audio abnormalities and tighten up any gaps that have been left, your final product will sound much more professional.